Alrighty, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our second episode here at CT Provisions. You got me and Taylor back at it. And yeah, Taylor's been a pretty crazy week here with all the productions. I know we got a convention going on, but I won't speak too much about it because that's the whole point of the convention and whatnot. But yeah, been crazy busy. Just really glad that we're still able to find time in our crazy busy schedule to sit down and do this. I do want to address one thing real quick. Going forward, our episodes will be exclusive on ASMP Films website. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so this time it is just an embed from YouTube, but going forward, it will be just our own personal, hosted video there. But yeah, how are you doing, Taylor?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually fully understand now. So first off, I did think about this. When you called my name for a brief second, I was like, I'm gonna act like I'm not here, or that my mic's not working. But couldn't really push myself to do it. But I will say, I have learned just now what you were talking about earlier, where you're having issues getting that situated on the podcast on your website. Now that I understand, I wish I knew earlier and came to that understanding earlier, because I might have been able to help, but there's no guarantee.
No, because we don't use the same stuff. It doesn't translate.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you don't use the same tools that I use to build said website, so it doesn't translate. But enough about that, technical difficulties. It is what it is. I
feel like we could go off on technical issues. We could talk tech like all night, and everybody would fall asleep.
Oh, yeah, no, hands down. But in other news, I have shown a few people the first episode of CT Provisions, and I need to address a few things. And it's about this one person I brought up last time on his little guilt trip that he tried to do. I just want to give additional context, all right? This isn't just a person that, out of the blue, I reach out every once in a while. We've gone through business endeavors, and he has ruined plenty to where cops get involved. It's a whole deal that I won't get too much into, but he's the type of dude who wants to inject himself into projects and oh yeah, we can do this. He overpromises and then can't deliver anything. And then he's like, well, but I promised that you would do it, not that I would do it. And it's like, why would you do that? That's the most asshole thing you could do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess that we didn't really touch base entirely on the context. And I mean, my side of that is that dude really, I mean, I got sidelined. A lot. I feel like a lot of the things that he was getting mad about you with, I was like, bro, you did the exact same thing to me and I didn't say nothing. I don't know why you're mad, but it is what it is. The past is the past, or something. I don't know. Something inspirational.
No, I find it very funny because this dude unfriended me on all the social medias and then sent me a friend request. I haven't responded to anything because I legitimately have been too busy, and I'm not trying to get into this bullshit drama with him, but I just wanted to air out the fact that me and him, we've tried to do business together in the past. It just never works out, and now I don't look for anything from him. I wish him the best. As I said last time, we were brainstorming, me and him, on how to get him out of being homeless, because that's no position for anyone to be in. But I think he's exhausted my niceness, which, when you get to know me, my niceness pool, the amount that I can be nice, is very limited, because I'm just an asshole 90% of the time. And that's the code that I will die with.
I mean, okay. I think maybe more like 89% of the time.
You're right. It's that 1% difference that makes all the difference, though.
You're the guy who's just 89% asshole. I'm the guy that's 89%. I've got to make an argument out of everything I can.
Yeah, absolutely. You're the dude that just wants to watch the world burn.
Hell yeah. Burn down.
Oh, man. But yeah, I know that you wanted to talk to me about another person that's just been causing you grief.
Oh, yeah, I could go on. That's a whole episode in of itself. But I mean, yeah,
Well,
that was
here we are.
okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna jump into this. So this guy, I mean, yeah, I think if you were to meet me, right, I am the nicest person in the world. It's when you cross me, that's when things start to change.
Allegedly, nicest person in the world.
Yeah, yeah, allegedly the nicest person in the world. But this was one of those things where I'm sitting there. Every time this guy sits down with me, usually I'll have a cigar. This is almost every time that we have an interaction. It's at where at my smoking spot, and he'll sit down, and he's always trying to get me to drink. I have been sober for 5.5 years. And it happens. Like I get it. It's not like it's one of those things. Like if you sit down with me and you offer me a drink, I'm not going to be mad at you the first time. It's going to take a lot for me to get mad about it. It's when it's every single time, and it's happening like 2 or 3 times a week over a year. Like I'm like, hey man, please stop. Like there is a point. But no, this just kind of happened earlier today where he reached out. And was telling me all about how he's got a gig at another cigar shop lined up. And I'm like, all right, hey, congratulations.
This motherfucker, he blew me off. Hold on. I'm going to interject real quick. Because this dude, the last time the three of us hung out at the same cigar lounge, because me and Taylor frequent the same spot, he was over here complaining that he didn't have a job and was all about this. Oh yeah, I really, what I'd like to do is photography. I offered him a job. He couldn't do said job because he had a big interview all day, and you're telling me that he has a job lined up at a cigar shop does not take a full day to interview at. It's bullshit.
Oh no, it gets better.
Carry on.
That whole situation got better because the first thing that I read, I won't name the shop because it is a competitor shop, but he names this shop, and it's actually, I know the shop very well. I was actually, at that point in time, I was probably about 10 minutes out, not even that, maybe like 6 or 7 minutes away from that shop where I was currently at that point in time. But then I realized he's not talking about this one. He's talking about one that's well over an hour drive east, because this is a chain shop. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I know where this guy lives at, and I know where this shop is. This is easily a 2.5 hour drive. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
I could have given him a job. I'm just saying. I was trying.
And I was just like, you know what? This was one of those things where, like, I wanted to say something about it, and I'm like, just let it go.
I'll say this about the whole drinking aspect, and you know this, but I have a theory, okay? And it's not just because I like to pick on people. My theory is grounded in the things that he says and the way he carries himself. But I, deep down, fully believe that he is trying to pressure you into drinking, because I secretly think he wants to ask you out, and I think that's the best way he can go about doing it, instead of just like, throwing his cards on the table and, read them of weep type deal. I really feel like he is trying to soften you up by getting you drunk so he can make a move on you.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that that's not what's happening, but you never know.
I mean, let me put it to the audience this way. The same night that I offered him a job, he made it a point to let all of us know his shower habits, which shower habits I feel don't alter that much from person to person. This dude is over here letting us know that every time he goes number 2, every time he takes a shit, okay, I'll just come out and say it. Not only does he have to be at his house, which is less weird, I know a lot of people are that way, but the reason that he has to be at his house is because when he takes a shit, he has to go and shower. A little weird, but I'm like, oh, okay, germaphobe-ish type deal. Nah. this dude has to take a shower because he feels like he is so dirty that he has to put his finger, maybe his whole hand, I didn't ask, up his butt to quote unquote clean it. And he said some other things, right? There was one time when he was like, yeah, everyone's been so rejective of me, referring to like girls. And he's like, I don't know, I think I might be into dudes, which is like, oh, okay, I don't know why you would tell Taylor this in like a private, kind of like last episode. I don't know why people decide to put people in socially awkward positions. But then what furthered my theory is the last time that we were at the cigar shop, he was like, yeah, I experimented with being gay, and I don't know, man. With all that being said, I am his wingman. I will help him fuck you. He will be fucking you. I want no part of that. But I am all for being a wingman.
Well, damn. But I mean, my whole thing is like, I don't have anything against anybody really, but it's. I mean, once if you cross me, that's one thing. But there's also if you sit there and you complain to me all the time about. I mean, that I should say that's part of the context of this. Is dude, all that I ever get is the complaints about his work, et cetera, and I sit there. And mind you, I'm not necessarily in a great position in life myself. I'm in a very bad position actually, but there's a lot of things that I've been through, and I've worked so many different fields compared to a lot of other people. Most people will go their entire life without working even close to the number of things that I've worked on, but I've given so much advice, and to see that like why don't come to me, and then just ask for that help and not even use any of it. It's like I just feel like my time is wasted at that. Like there's somebody else out there that I could be talking to that needs that help, and is actually going to use it.
You know what you need to do next time? You should preface what you're about to say with, you should listen to me. I've been on national TV in the sense that we were on that bullshit chicken commercial. See if that helps sell the advice that you're giving him.
This is true. I mean that's a possibility. I could very well use that commercial as leverage. Be like, look, I've been on TV. I know what I'm talking about.
It's huge. That was my one line, and it was great because they redid the edit and they kept me. But for whatever reason, because me and Taylor were in the scene together, for whatever reason, they were like, that guy? Fuck that guy. And they just like cut Taylor out for no fucking reason. I didn't know about it. The only person who tells me about it is, lo and behold, Taylor. Because like, what the fuck? Why would they cut you out?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was a little bit of a shocker to me. I'm a little bit upset about that. I mean, listen, I like that crunch, and I'm taking that. I don't think they can copy. Can they copyright that? I can use that line. Yeah, that was my voice, right?
No, you signed all that away on that piece of paper. Maybe your piece of paper, because they sent it to us a second time, maybe it just didn't get to him.
Or maybe whatever they were putting out was like soggy, and they're like, whoa, we cannot put this guy in here. He's talking about the crunch of our sandwich. If we use that clip, people will think our new soggy chicken sandwich is crunchy, and it's not. It's soggy. They explicitly pour water and grease mixed together onto that chicken sandwich.
How dare you besmirch the good name of that chicken place? I still get my royalties from said commercial. I'll have you know.
I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, I don't think he said the name of it, of the chicken place, and I'm not going to bring up the chicken place because I'm not. That's how you get demonetized. But
I'm not worried about that. But that's definitely how you get sued.
Well, you're demonetized. You at that point, you have less money than when you started, and I'm going to use that term for that, even though it doesn't make sense.
Demonetized. Yeah, well, it's funny that you bring up demonetization. That's the whole reason why I'm against relying on YouTube, and I recommend to anyone who is trying to do anything, media, content creator, whatever hat you want to, put on yourself, influencer, I think that's the more popular term being tossed around now. you can't rely on those companies because their policy changes so quickly, and you never know what side of that policy you're going to be on. You know, one day you're agreeing with their terms of service, and the next day you haven't changed anything, but they have, and now you're demonetized. And if your whole business is around that, you're just SOL. And it's the same with embedding things. That's why I'm a huge advocate. My website is going to have content that I created myself, and it's going to be hosted on, you know, the service that I use, because fuck all that bullshit. Just fuck it all.
This is true, man. It sucks it's crazy to me because we grew up in a time where you could go onto a platform, and I'm not even saying the name of the platform, where everybody knows what it starts with it starts with a U, you know what I mean?
You can say it. I mean, we're going to be on YouTube, so I mean, you can say YouTube.
Oh, well, YouTube, you know, we started out, I remember, and I there's videos I've got that have, you know, tens of thousands of views on YouTube from almost 20 years ago. I would say actually more closer to 15 years ago. But I do remember that. I remember, like, you could just go on there and you could just put a video out, and you could potentially be famous off of that one video. Nowadays, you got to learn so much. You got to dive through all these algorithms, all these loops. We've talked about it.
That part to me is like the easy part of it, because like to me it's even harder to build your own brand on your own website, because at least YouTube has an algorithm that you can learn. Like, you know, doing things without any algorithm is literally you word of mouth, posting links, and like to me it's harder to get your own website up off the ground. But once you do that, you know, the sky's the limit, because again, you're in charge of your shop. You're in charge of, if you want to do ads, you can. There's the whole subscription model that you have full control over. You know, you don't have to rely on YouTube or Patreon or whatever new widget or gadget they have to help with that. So to me, it's harder. The algorithm is the one thing where I'm like, oh, I wish I had that, because without it, you know, it's like, what, you can do Google ads, you can put money in to advertise your website, but YouTube, you know, you don't have to do that, or TikTok, you don't have to do that. And they're good tools for that, but they're only tools from my point of view.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
But yeah, so it's a technical issue. We will have it resolved, and then going forward, this podcast will be a video podcast, and we'll keep evolving it from there. It will be live every Wednesday, 8 p.m., and then on ASMP Films website, and then every Thursday, 8 p.m., it'll be on all the social media platforms, you know, YouTube. We're going to try Rumble. I know it's a big thing, but I haven't really played around with Rumble too much.
There's actually been there was another one, and I cannot think of the name of it. It's not Rumble, but it does have it starts with an R. I need to look that up and see what that was, because I don't know anything about it, but you know, it could be something that's interesting. The downside, I think, right now in this really happened with the rise of AI. There's so many platforms that are popping up, and a lot of them, it's hard to decipher. I mean, you can figure it out pretty quick once you get into it. Once you build up an account and you look through the website, you're looking through their processes, how they handle everything. It's you have to deep dive on some of them, but at the end of the day, yeah, deep dive. But I just feel like a lot of them, it's not worth using, and it's just somebody threw together something they used, you know, an AI system to develop what I would call a start to a social media, but they were looking for a quick buck, and maybe they got it, maybe they didn't. Just something that's not going to work out.
This is not social media related. Well, actually, I take that back. It is, but it's more AI powered. Is CapCut? I'm sure you've heard of it. That thing is gold. I love that thing, because you can get your fully edited video, you can put it through it, and you can tell it, oh, I want minute longs, or I think it goes up to like 3 to 5 minutes, or maybe 3 minutes is the cutoff point. But either way, it will literally go through it and make a bunch of shorts for you, and that is gold. That is gold. So if you are trying to do what we're doing, look into CapCut. That's a good one. Pixelcut is another great. Again, these are softwares. These aren't that are powered by AI. These are not what Taylor's referring to, which are social medias, because I am of the thought that the ones that have already outshined the competitors in the marketplace, those are the ones that I want to be at. Because all the others, yeah, it'd be cool to be one of the first creators on that platform, but you're also taking a gamble on the platform, right? So to me, I'd rather be on where audiences are and try and drive them to my website. Not to say that there's one right way or wrong way. It's just I always look at things of like time, right? So like if I'm going to invest in a new startup social media that like I'm iffy on, I could be doing other stuff, whether it's the website, whether it's producing shows or editing. There's many hats that I think anyone that would be in my position is doing.
And actually, to kind of talk about one of those that you brought up, Pixelcut, man, that's
gold. Love it. Love it.
Beast of one of my things that I try to push for is ease of access. If I can get into a browser and do something in a browser without having to touch any downloads, without downloading anything at all, that's the way I want to do it. And it's like Pixelcut is one that is browser based. I've talked a lot about Photopea, even though it's not my favorite out there. For someone who's like, man, I need to do something that most people are going to use Photoshop to do, you can just do it with Photopea.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's done in your browser.
That's exactly how I feel about Gimbal, whatever it's called. Because it is. You don't have to download anything, and it's great. I want to say it's GIMP. I'll put it in the description when we upload everything. But those types of tools are phenomenal, and they will help you cost-wise to where you don't have to do anything sketchy like downloading torrents or any of that gray area stuff. And it does it just makes everything so much easier, whether you're trying to make a custom thumbnail, whether you're trying to blow up an image. Like that's what one of the things I use Pixelcut for is background remover, or more importantly the upscaler, because I am a huge fan of Canva, which to me does a better job at removing the image. But they're all great tools, honestly.
Good old Canva. That's another one. There's a lot of those softwares, man, that are just absolutely godsend.
The thing that blows my mind, because I wasn't introduced to Canva until me and you worked at the oil and gas brokerage company that you currently work at. That was my previous old job. I was helping out with the marketing, and yeah, you guys showed me Canva, and I was like, what the fuck? How did I not know about this? It makes someone who's an idiot when it comes to digital design like I am, it makes us look like we're fucking the golden boy. Like I was chosen for this shit.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And of course, Trello, we talked about that last time, I think.
Oh, yeah. That Trello, dude, that thing, seriously. If you are trying to get organized and you're not very organized like I am, Trello will save your ass so many times. That's my morning routine now, is I go onto Trello, I check what I didn't do from yesterday, and then I make a new checklist to make sure that I am being productive. And it's great for accountability, and it's just, I couldn't say more great things about Trello.
And this can be, I can go back and kind of talk about, we were talking about that one gentleman a while ago, where I constantly am suggesting things. One of the biggest things that I've talked to people about when you're trying to get out into this realm of being productive, and maybe you're animating, and it does not matter what you're doing, be it animating, game development, writing a book.
Yeah, creativity is creativity. I'm with you on that.
And the thing about it is, like, all of this out there, like, I remember we were talking about that to that gentleman that night. I was like, bro, you're talking about you need a team for all this. Yes, it's good to have a team, but there's a lot of things that you can do and you can do on your own for free. And there's so many companies out there offering this that are just like, hey, you can use us.
I'm glad you brought this up because I had forgotten about that conversation. This motherfucker, okay? We were talking about just production shit, all right? And I was letting him know one of my favorite things, which is directing and writing. Like, if I had a choice, if Taylor were to come to me or if anyone were to come to me and say, hey, I need help on this project, I would say, great, here is my strong suits. I can be a cameraman, that's more than fine. I learned that at film school. It's just not what I like to do because when push comes to shove, you need a director and you need a director of photography, all right, or a videographer. And the reason is one is focused on the talent, which is going to be your director, and your fucking cameraman is going to be in charge of, the fucking cameras. And this motherfucker's over here, well, I'll do it all. And I was like, dude, you can't. Like, at a certain point, you got to learn to say, hey, you do this while I do this, because we have so many fucking things. It's like you're trying to juggle like 15 things, right? And it's just like you have another person who's a professional juggler right next to you that could, tap in and help you. And you're just like being selfish and you're just like, nah, fuck it, I got this. And all it leads to is a shit time and a shit project because you're trying to do too much. And just, no, don't. That's why you have a team. And this dude's like,
oh. Actually, I would say that's why I'm in the position, because you've watched me sit there and try to do that, where I try to do everything on my own, and it doesn't really get you very far.
Yeah, me and you, actually, funny enough, me and you just had this conversation, like, within an hour ago, because we are currently getting ready to go to some conventions, network. I think I mentioned this last episode, but, we're trying to go so we can get our first show out the door with an audience, or at least build up an audience. That way, people actually watch our shit. And that shows Knights of Belmont. There are audio recordings that we're going to have to go redo, which normal part of the process, right? And you were saying we should get 2 mics and we should do all this that way. And I was like, no, dude. What we should really do, since you wrote it, you should direct it. You should have our talent. I can focus on the audio. And that way, I'll make sure the levels are good and you can focus on the tone, because tone is everything when it comes to animated projects, because you're not seeing the actors, right? There's no, like, facial cues or body language that you can read off of. That's all going to be what the animator does. So tone is 30 times as important to me. But you just got to learn how to, like, okay, I'm going to do this, you do this.
It's so true, man. And it's, there is that classic phrase, and I as much as I hate this phrase so much, teamwork really does make the dream work. It's the facts. It is a true 100% fact that, and I wasn't too happy whenever I realized that one day. I was like, man, I'd much rather, I wish I could do it all. And it's kind of cool because I'm to the point where I am confident that, let's say, I have 20 people working under me. If somebody can't make it to work, I may not be able to do everything that they would normally do, but I do know enough that I could kind of keep the team moving a little bit. And that was, when I realized I could at least do that, I was comfortable. I was like, this is what I want. I want to be able to help out where I'm needed, because I never want anyone to look at me and be like, this guy, he's the big wig, he makes all the money, he's just here running the show. Like, I want to help and be hands-on if I can.
And see, to me, that's the difference of, like, yeah, being well-rounded and being able to pick up the slack is 100% different than saying, hey, I'm going to write, direct, I'm also, like, I'm going to do everything, right? Because at a certain point, if you want to do that, and I tell anyone this, if you want to do that, go become a rapper. Like, no, all jokes aside, go become a rapper, because they can do that, right? It's just you, a beat, and you can say whatever the fuck you want, just figure out how to rhyme that shit, and you're good. One-man show, all the way, all the rappers. But if you want to do, like, what we're doing...
Maybe I should do that.
Dude, I've been telling you. We can scrap Retro Molesto, the first album, which was an album way, way, way back in the day that Taylor made. It was like techno, but also rap. I'm telling you, I'm going to keep pushing that this becomes a thing.
I mean, look, if I can find, listen, I got to dig for it, but I do happen to still have the computer that I was using at the time.
Just start
The
fresh.
question, I mean, we could actually start fresh. And I was just saying there were 10 tracks on there, and I recorded myself saying yeah, and literally that was the beat. It was like, yeah, yeah.
I remember that
It
one.
was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Absolutely dumbest thing.
Dude, but now
Like,
we have the hats that look like rapper. Like we could pull it off. When I mean we, I mean you.
You're getting up on that stage whether you like it or not. I'm just gonna be like, haha.
I would get up on stage, no problem. Because like I said, I love to write. I've written a few lyrics for projects that I would like to rap on one day, but I'm not confident, and I've never developed the skills that you would need. Like I've never practiced that shit. And I know you need to do that because you got to fucking. It's a beast of its own. But seriously, artists that just want to do everything themselves, rappers, like that's fucking go do that shit that way there.
It's not true. It's not good, but it is kind of true.
Or do small little productions like what's that company name? Pimations. There you go, Pimations. Fucking great fucking videos. If you haven't heard of them, just type into Google or type into YouTube or wherever you trust. Fucking Suction Cup Man.
Suction Cup Man.
Suction Cup Man. Fuck you. I won't.
You
quote,
can't kill Suction Cup Man.
I don't know if we can quote too much of it, but you know what? Fuck it. Go for it.
It's too late. I already quoted that one line. That's all. I've done my quote for the day.
No, do it because I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh. You can't kill Suction Cup Man. Look at me go.
Fucking Suction Cup Man, dude. Seriously, if you don't know who Suction Cup Man is, go watch it. You'll love us for it. Unfortunately, they did 4 episodes, and then they started making content that I don't even know what to think of it. I'll just put it that way.
It wasn't bad. I've kind of kept up. It's not bad.
But
It's
is
different.
it Suction Cup Man worthy?
It's not the same as Suction Cup.
Nah,
I don't feel like and I don't think he means for it to be the same level of comedy, but it does have. I mean, it's fun. It's something like I do watch his stuff from time to time.
No, that's good. I mean, you should support people like that because the Suction Cup Man, when I say it had me like holding my stomach out of laughter, like that's how great some of those moments and episodes are. It's go watch it. You'll thank us later.
I am gonna have so many people emailing me, and I'm gonna be like, "Listen, guys, it's funny. Stop emailing me."
What, over Suction Cup Man? Dude, that's nothing. Just wait for Table Manners. Just wait. That's the second show that we'll be releasing, hopefully, at some point this year. For sure after Cobb, or Knights of Belmont. Me and Taylor refer to it as Cobb. So I don't want to get too much into it, but just be prepared for when Table Manners comes out.
We can get into. I mean, Cobb is one of those things. I'm at a point where I am talking about it now with folks. I mean, do you want to kind of reveal anything about it? We don't have to reveal too much.
No, I mean, I really feel we should start talking about it. I mean, you're the creator of said show, so I'll let you. But my opinion is we should at least go to 1 or 2 conventions to really be talking about it, because at that point we should have some content to where people can go see it. But again, if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. You're show running it, and you created it.
Okay, well, I'm only gonna. Are we cutting this part out?
Are we editing?
Why did I whisper
what?
it?
I'm not editing shit, motherfucker.
Oh, well, then in that case, okay, well, look, I'm not going to reveal, like, a lot about the show. I will tell everybody, we are working on something. It is called Knights of Belmont. That's already been revealed. And seriously, if you want to find out some more about it and get some real info on it, you need to be showing up at Retrofest next weekend.
Yeah, that's a local convention in the DFW area, which stands for Dallas Fort Worth. It's a metroplex within Texas. I know we have a lot, but it's the one that's furthest north. So not Houston, not San Antonio, and not Austin.
And it's a good thing if you show up. I have something for you. We got a limited something.
He's gonna have a creeper van, and he's gonna offer you some candy and a sticker. Whatever happens in that van happens.
So, okay, some of that's true, some of it's not. And here's the best part: I'm not going to say what's true and what's not, and what you just said.
It's okay.
I'm going to leave. People are going to be stuck guessing now, and I'm okay with it.
Don't worry, I'm gonna send this to your best friend who takes weird showers, and he's gonna be first in line. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in that van with you."
I'm like, oh shit.
Yep, I'm gonna lock you in just like that one. that one.
Damn it. But yeah, you know what? If you can make it out to this event, it's it's Retrofest. It's March 9th, and that's going to be it's close to the Stockyards over in Fort Worth. Actually, I think it's about maybe 15 minutes to the northwest of it. But yeah, come on out. This is a show we've worked really hard on. I do want to hold a little bit. There's a lot of information I am holding back on it, but we are going to start talking about it here in the next couple weeks a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of CT Provisions. You know, it's a weekly podcast, so if we're hesitant to say something right now, there's a reason. But just keep tuning in if you're interested in that. You will find more. Or go follow ASMP on Instagram or Facebook. We have it there as well. And all you have to do is go to the website, ASMP Films. All of the social media icons are there. You can just click them, follow us there. That's probably the best way if you really want to keep up to date. But yeah, no, just keep tuning in. More information will come. But I will have you know, you reminded me, or maybe I reminded myself because of the joke I said, of locking that one person in the bathroom. So this is how long me and Taylor have been friends. Once upon a time, there was a time, I tell the story, I guess I fabricate the story because I merge two stories together.
I know what you're talking about.
But the important part is, there was this chick who, she was big, alright? I'm just going to say that. She was but I don't mean a little on the heavy side. I mean big. She was fucking 350 pounds big. Okay? And her name was Christina. And the only reason why I'm saying her name is because there was two of them. That's not like a joke that she was so fat that there was two of them. No.
There were actually four.
There was two. There was one person who was super, super attractive. Her name was Hot Christina. And there was a second one who I just described. And we would call her Fat Christina. Okay? And in fact, at one point, I was super drunk. I think we were at an IHOP. And one of them asked me something. And I just responded with, oh no, I was asking him something. Because the wrong person responded. I was asking Hot Christina something. And then Fat Christina responded. And I was like, no, not you, Fat Christina. I meant to say, I was talking to Hot Christina. And everyone just stops what they're doing. They look at me and they're like, I can't believe you said that. Are you going to apologize? And I looked at everyone and I was like, well, what's there to apologize for? I already said it.
I remember that specific moment only because I had hit my head and it kind of jolted me out of being drunk for a few minutes. So this is back when I drank. Now, this kind of gives you guys an idea of how long ago this was. This actually would have been this was 10 years ago because that was before I was even old enough to legally drink. And
we have another story about that too, with the same chick.
Yeah, there's so many of those. But I had hit my head. I actually would have been, so I was sitting on the floor next to the entrance to the kitchen. We had gone to IHOP that night, but I think this was later on. But you were sitting on the floor. We're sitting to my immediate right is the walkway to the kitchen, and across that walkway would have been the bathroom door. You were sitting on the left side of that bathroom door. So not our feet were touching, but that's kind of how we were sitting. It's almost where our feet were touching. And she would have been she was in either a couch or a recliner or something.
See, this is how you know Taylor, one, has a better memory than me, but two, he has to, because these random weirdos are always trying to sleep with him. So Factorcino was one of them. Taylor, I bet you I could tell you one night and you'd be like, this is where Factorcino was. Because he always has to keep an eye on that shit.
I have to, like, I don't understand, like, people try to fuck me all the time. I'm like, I don't understand it. And I'm the one guy in the world that's like, no, please. I'm not interested.
No, we cracked the code last time, but we won't get into that. But anyways, yeah, go on. So, because I really don't remember this entire story. So our feet were touching.
No, they weren't touching, but they were like, kind of. I mean,
don't you do this shit? They weren't touching, but they were touching.
They were. Yeah, we weren't footsying.
You fucker.
But no, and so yeah, you did get the part with the way that you said it, and I do remember everybody kind of like looking at you, and I was like, he can't like. The only thing that goes through my head before I snap back to being drunk was, oh, he can't like back out of that. That's not like that's one of those phrases you
amen to that, and I didn't.
Like sometimes in life you can say something and it's you messed up, but you're able to like kind of, oh, I can fix this, if your speech and charisma is high enough, but your speech and charisma was high enough, but your strength was just like too high. You're like, I'm gonna keep going with it. And I was like, hey, you know what? Respect.
When I'm in those positions, what my fight or flight or whatever you want to call it is just commit. Just like a bad joke. Like when I say a bad joke and I know it's going to bomb and I'm watching it bomb, I'm like, fuck yeah, that was me.
I mean, that's all you can do. It's the best part.
Hold on. The reason why I brought this up, there was another night where I don't remember. I thought it was the night that me and Taylor had this plan to steal the alcohol because the chicks were of age. They were like 21 or 22, so they could buy alcohol. So I thought it was that night where I was trying to distract Factorcina, and my distraction, bulletproof, by the way, because I knew that she wanted to sleep with Taylor, and I knew Taylor was uncomfortable. So logically, she was in the bathroom by herself, and I shoved this dude in there, and then I lock him in there, because I figured, okay, just like a bank heist, right? You pull out the guns, seconds count. So yeah.
You bastard.
Hey man.
I didn't even remember being in there. That's the best part. I remember getting out of there, but I don't remember being in there.
I don't know, because again, my memory was that when you were doing that, so here's the plan for that night, and this is how I tell the story. Okay, the girls were throwing a party. They brought alcohol, for everyone. There was a bunch of dudes there. When I say a bunch, it was like, I don't know, 4, 5. But they all wanted to smoke weed, and like I said last episode, huge advocate, always had smoke, always will smoke. And so I had some just naturally in my car. And so I was like, yeah, I got you. I grabbed like an eighth, which is like $40 at the time worth. I throw it to them, and they get all high. I take the, while they're distracted, grab all the booze, run to my car, put it in the car, but in my infinite wisdom, left the keys like on the table, or I left them in the apartment, and I obviously couldn't go back because I'm just gonna go red-handed and like, oh yeah, I stole your alcohol. So I just like hid in the back seat of my Suburban at the time, which is what I drove, with like a blanket on, and then you came and you were like, hey, I made it out. So I thought that's how you made it out, was like you made it out just in time for me to do everything. But apparently that's not what happened. They're two different nights. All I know is we definitely took their alcohol, and I definitely put you in the bathroom, and I also definitely made you go back to get my keys, which was great because you tell this part of the story so well, because I can't tell the story that well because I wasn't there. So I just omit it. So I'll let you fill in what happened when you had to go back to get my keys that I fucking forgot.
Well, and so the thing about that specific part is this was after, because I remember a couple weeks before we had almost got busted by the cops, because I was definitely underage, and like this cop drove by the car and he's like slowing down. I'm like, it's 4 a.m. I am heavily intoxicated. So and so's like this. Wasn't just you and me. It was a couple other people I think with us. But all in all, like I was like, okay, I'm not drinking anymore till I'm 21, and it was only like a 2-month mark. So I was like, I can do this. But the way I got those keys back, right? I was sober enough that I was able to go in there, and I saw your keys on the couch. Now, first off, everybody started yelling at me as soon as I walked in. I'm like, hang on,
Yeah,
like,
you rat bastard.
yeah, I was like, wait a second, guys. Think about something with, like, I know everybody's high, but I would not have come back. Why? I want y'all to all think about that. Why would I come back to a party if I was involved with stealing all the alcohol? There's nothing there. There's no reason I can't be drinking at the party anymore because there's no alcohol. And I'm not interested in any of these people, so there was nothing there.
That's exactly why I couldn't go back.
Yeah, so I went with the idea of, okay, I can trick these people. They're all high. It's easy. And that's what I did. And so I spot your keys on the couch. And I was like, there's keys. And I did everybody calmed down and like realized, okay, he's got a point. Like, he's not going to come back to this unless, he's telling the truth. I told everybody, obviously I'm not part of this. And plus, I told everyone if I was involved with stealing everything. Like, I don't have a way to go home without you. So clearly, it's just, all in all, I can't remember every fine detail of how I convinced them, but I did. And I sat on top of your keys. And they were underneath my right thigh. I remember this so vividly. And those keys were probably like, yeah, sit on me. But I sat there and like I would keep acting like I'm scratching my thigh, but I would kind of grip the keys a little bit because I didn't want to do it fast because I felt like if I moved too fast, these guys are like, they're paranoid right now. So if I move too quickly, I don't want to freak anybody out. So I'm just kind of scratching my thigh, slowly scooching the keys. Finally, I get them scooched up enough where I slid them into my pocket. And I thought, okay, now we're in a good spot. All I've got to do is get out of here. And I'm thinking to myself, can I outrun everybody here? Like,
you definitely could with Factor Cena.
I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I did is I looked at all the chicks, and I'm like, every girl here is out of shape. Like,
no, Factor Cena was in shape. She probably could have tracked you.
No. In her condition that night, she was not in shape to be.
Was she gone?
I believe she was pregnant that night.
Factor Cena was not pregnant, bro. You're thinking of Factor Cena. Factor Cena was pregnant.
I thought the hot one got pregnant too.
Nah, dude. Oh man, I'm gonna have to call her and be like, "You ruined my dream."
That was a good question. I don't know. Anyways, look, I looked around. I'm like, there's a couple guys here. There were like 2 guys. The other 2 guys were like, "There's no way. Like, they're gonna chase after me. They're gonna trip." The other 2, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's the only time I've ever like looked at a guy and questioned like how muscular they are. Yeah, I'm not proud of them.
You always know that you're unequipped.
Right. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to say this. I actually have a lot of like leg muscle. Like, I used to do cross country and stuff. So I've got a lot of lean muscle in my legs. I can actually run very fast, and I can actually run very far. And I really thought this. I was like, okay, I'm good. One guy caught me looking out the window. I was like, look, I'm just saying, this dude's car is still there. Then I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect. Now I'm getting everybody to think we should go look for this guy. I was like, if everybody will go and look for Chris, then I can get away. Like, I will slip away from the group, and we're good. And I convinced everyone. I'm like, look, let's all be smart about this. Chris is smart.
Let's be smart about this while I fool you all.
I was like, Chris is not stupid. He's not going to go straight to his vehicle, right? Obviously, he hasn't gone straight to his vehicle because the vehicle's still there. And everyone's like, yeah, that's true. And I'm like, okay, so either he went somewhere else, or maybe he's like somewhere nearby in one of the other apartments. Maybe he knows somebody that I didn't know in these apartments. And I told everyone that we do know people in the area. So
facts.
I actually knew like half the residents at that complex. And everyone was like, that's probably, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, think about it. How did he get away so quickly? Like, I couldn't find him. That makes sense. He might still be out here. And then I was like, for all we know, he's in the woods out behind the freaking apartment complex.
Yeah,
I had these people fooled, man. I had them so fooled. And I was so proud of myself. And I go out the door telling everyone, look, I'm going to start looking. Y'all can figure out what you want to do. But I'm pissed off, and I'm going to go find this motherfucker. And so, yeah, I really I had them, man. I had that whole group wrapped around my finger. I go out onto the front, and the guy that I had been talking about earlier, he does follow me. He's like, you know what, man? I'm gonna help you find this guy. He's like, this is pissing me off too, and I'm like, I appreciate it, man. Now the apartment we're in, the first and second floors, the front and back staircase did not have a hallway going between them, but on the third floor, there was a hallway that would take you from the front to the back side of the building, and you can go down either staircase. I told him, I'm like, well, how about this? You go that way, I'll go this way. I messed up. I got a little cocky, and I realized, oh, that automatically is going to look like I'm trying to get away with something. And he called it. He's like, you know what? I know what you're up to. You're working with this guy, and you just got everybody in this room fooled. And I'm like, hang on. Guy, honestly, think about what you just said.
There's always a smart one. Always.
Yeah. And I told him, I'm like, look, it makes sense what you're trying to say. It could be construed that I'm working against you guys, but why would I go back? Think about that. Think very hard about that. If I walked into that room, you guys, absolutely, everybody could take a swing at me. There's nothing, I benefit in no way, shape, or form to go back into that room whatsoever if I was guilty of anything. And he's kind of thinking about it. He's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm not even going to ask for an apology. Okay, let's go look for this guy and let's find his ass. We're going to beat the fucking snot out of him. We're going to take all the booze and we're going to get fucking shit-faced. And he's like, okay, you know what? All right, I'm sorry, man. And I'm like, it's cool. I don't worry about it. You really don't have to apologize. And so he goes, I'm going to go with your plan. I'm going to check the front side of the complex. You check the back side of the complex. Because that's where this building was it was actually kind of at the towards the back of the complex. To the front was more of the parking lot area. To the back was more of the creek area.
Yeah. And to add a little bit more context, it was perfect for our strategy because that means we park to a main side road that emptied out into a main road, and boom, you just drive a few miles and you're on Highway 75, which is a major highway that basically takes you anywhere in DFW.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, as soon as I touched foot on that grass, at this point he can't see me anymore. He can't hear me. I got the keys. I ran to your truck. And the thing about Chris's vehicle at the time, guys, is you couldn't open the vehicle with the door handle.
No, sir.
You had to slap the top of the window down. And I'm not going to describe it to anyone. It's something you either have to see. If you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. But you had to kind of slap it to get a grip and kind of push the window down a little bit, slide your fingers through the crack, and then pull that window down. Well, the window was already down. That's how Chris got into the vehicle, and I don't know if you did this on purpose or if this was accidental, but you left that window open, and I dove through that driver window.
Yeah, no, it was on purpose, dude. I was like, all that was going through my head, because mind you, while all of this is happening, I am under a blanket in the back seat. Suburbans have 3 rows, so I was in the second row, or I guess the first row in the back, with a blanket, and here's how scared I was. There was a dude who was a part of the watch party who 2 minutes before you get there and we rendezvous, he fucking put his hands on the glass and was looking through my thing, and I tried so hard to not breathe. I literally did one of these and just couldn't move an inch until he left. And the moment you dove in, I jumped out of the blanket, jumped into the front seat, had the keys, turned that bitch on, and we fucking drove. And it was so great.
Got out of there.
It was so great because on our way home,
so many texts.
She called us when we were a few minutes from the house, and she was like, "I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna do this. You guys are dead." And I was like, "Bullshit! You're not gonna call the cops because all you're gonna do is admit to giving underage kids alcohol, and in Texas, how's that gonna go?" And I'm like, "Hold on. So you're saying that you willingly bought this so you could drink with people that are underage? That doesn't sound right."
And I guarantee you, they still had a bunch of weed left over.
Oh, they did. They did. I mean,
And
an
that
eighth.
apartment
There's
was
no way.
definitely with that many people and that much weed, it would have smelled like it.
I don't have a cigar, but I will say this: I love when a plane comes together because that was
Right?
foolproof.
We had that, man. That is probably the craziest shit that I had. I mean, there's probably, I'll say this, there's more crazy stories out there.
Yeah, I had a hole in my
I
head,
still,
and we'll talk about
I
that
still
another
tell
day.
people,
You what?
every person I talk to, I'm like, hey, this, like when they ask about you, I'm always like, this is what happened. This is probably the funniest story that I've got.
The hole in the head, or this one that we just told?
This one we just told.
I love it.
I find it hilarious.
No, me too. Because like, it defines a good part of me, and I promise I'm not like this with everyone. But there was a lot of this is a term that some people use, or a lot of people use. There was a lot of microaggressions, all right, and I had it up to here with it, and this is how I responded.
Well, so that whole story, that whole party, that started with we got there. You looked at me, right? So I drove there, or like I pulled up. I was the one that had parked the vehicle, and I remember you just looking over at me, and you're like, "Do we actually enjoy hanging out with these guys?" And I was like, "I mean, not really. Like, I
Let's
don't."
be real. We both wanted our shot at the time with Hakusina, and we realized that ship sailed. Like there was no chance out of our league.
It's true, and it was just one of those things. I was like, "All right." You sat there and made a suggestion. You were like, "Hey, we can do this," and I was like, "No, like." I'm a nice guy, right? I've talked about it earlier. I try my best to be a nice person. And in this situation, I did kind of weigh the option. I was like, yeah, maybe. But I was trying to be nice. And I don't know what it was that was said. But something, when we went to that party, something did make me snap. And I was like, you know what? And I remember looking at you and be like, let's do it.
I'm pretty sure you were experimenting, like you said last episode, where you were either reinventing your name or your identity. It was something like that, where you made a comment and everyone like started attacking you, which has happened one other time in front of me, to where I got so upset. Where I looked at a mutual friend of ours, you were so blackout, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and all of your jokes were locker room-ish jokes. But to be fair, that's what Cards Against Humanity is. It's all locker room type jokes. Like they're all that way, and everyone started dogpiling you. And just like with Christina and all them, I was like, "Fuck you guys!" Like if this is how you're gonna treat people who you claim to be friends with, then obviously we're enemies. And if we're enemies, oh, I know exactly what to do with my enemies.
Oh, absolutely.
But that wraps up about an hour for us. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about our adventures. There's plenty more. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Hell yeah. Y'all take care.